Okay, this is Cal Fires. I believe it was August of 2018. It was released. The most destructive wildfires in California. Just to give you an idea of the scope of this, and how even when they have to water it down, you still will. You can clearly see in the numbers here. What the hell? Something's wrong here. Okay, on the top is the Tubbs fire. Okay, that fire. Now they've separated this event into 3 different fires. Okay, this is the October 8th, October 9th, 2 days of 2017. This is the one I've been covering. I made videos on. I keep telling you guys, look, man, this is like Roswell meets 9/11. In fact, maybe even worse, and no one knows about it. Or you just no one gives a shit because it's California. But I think you should give a shit as an event at the very least. Not to mention, I mean, all these people are homeless at this point. They're not going to let them move back in. It was part of some bigger agenda. They're basically pushing them around. So you have literally homeless people, whatever, they're homeless. Now you have lawyers, doctors, like tens of thousands of people are homeless on the street, and no one cares because they're from California. And when you realize what put them out there, you realize, dude, this is like a Katrina or a 9/11. Dude, I'm telling you, I make some radical statements, but I've never made up complete bullshit. This is the most radical, insane thing I've ever heard of, ever. Like, I've never heard anything like this occurring in the history of this planet. And when you see the footage of it and you look into it, you're like, what the hell is going on? I mean, I understand why people can't look into it, because something just won't let you look into it, man. Because you guys are going to see something you may not be ready to see. That's the honest to God truth. I'm not making it as a bold statement. I'm giving you that as a truth right now. Anyone who has seen this, from the firefighters to the victims, knows that at the very minimum, the U.S. military did some experiment. I'm not kidding you. That's pretty much the agreement. Anyone who comes up with, oh, it was winds and this and that, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You can clearly see in the videos. And I feel bad for those people, because one day they're going to kind of get laughed at. But I can understand why, man. I can understand why. It's totally a case of you do not want to deal with this as a truth. The Tubbs fire, October 8th and 9th of 2017. Okay, that's the same as the other fires that are only about a mile away from this fire. Okay, 36,000 acres. Okay, that was 2 days. 5,626 structures. Okay, all of them were homes, and the trees and the shrubbery around the homes didn't burn. A Kmart burned. A McDonald's burned. In the middle of the city, far removed from the fire. This was not a brush fire. This was an urban fire. Like, this can happen in New York City. That's what people don't seem to get. They're like, oh yeah, they had a brush fire in California. No, that's like the cover story. That's what's so annoying about the goddamn media. But I guess it's to protect you, because you're really not going to be able to handle it. Okay, look at the second to that. That's the Oakland Hills fire. Remember that famous fire? There's a lot of crazy footage from that too. Very interesting set of circumstances that are very similar with these two. That's second place. That was in 91. Okay? 30 years ago. Okay? And that only has 2,900, and all of those were homes too, and that was only about 50 miles away from this fire. Okay, and it only hit 1,600 acres. 22 deaths in the Tubbs fire and 25 deaths in the Oakland Hills fire. Okay, then the Cedar fire in October 2003. I remember that fire. That was huge. 273,000 acres. That's almost 10 times almost the amount of acres burned in the other 2 fires. And they had 15 deaths in that, and that was like a 2 weeks of fires. The other ones happened in 24 hours. And then as you go down the list, they are adding more fires from that same date. Right? Or actually, it was the Thomas fire in December. The Nuns fire. The Nuns fire and the Tubbs fire are the same fire. Do you see that, number 7? Another 1,355, 54,000 acres. That was on the same day and right next to the Tubbs fire. And then the Atlas fire on the 12th. That was the same as the Nuns and the Tubbs fire. 51,000. And so you had almost 10,000. 9,000 of those are family homes, where you had 3 or 4 or 5 people living in those homes, right next to each other, not even near the mountains or the forest. There's nothing left, like dust. They're dustified, is the word they're using. Dustified. I mean, that's insane. Look at some of these other fires. I mean, they go back to the 1920s. But when you look at these and you don't space them up like Cal Fire did, 80% of the homes lost on this list occurred in one day last year of the history of brush fires in California, and it wasn't even a brush fire. That's something you got to look at. That's just not normal. That's just, how is that possible? And as firefighters have said, there's not even enough oxygen. You can't even consume wood or trees that quickly because fire can't burn that fast. Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. It defies the laws of physics. I mean, when you look at these things and you don't just glance over them and get the whole Mandela effect going on with you guys, you can clearly, see what's going on, man. You got to get conditioned to it, but this is not normal in any way, shape, or form. Anyone who says so needs to be questioned. Honestly. That's the new normal. The first shall be last and the last shall be first. Our leaders don't know what the fuck is going on right now. We've been telling you this since 2010, and I was not even fucking, I was new to the game back then. People were telling you about this since 9/11. Welcome to the jungle.